Hello to all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. Mess 5150 back with the Malice Corp live podcast. Welcome back to the show. Before we get into everybody that's on the show, really want to talk about the things we're going to talk about so you guys can kind of be prepared for what we're going to talk about. We're going to have our nerd news that we do every week. A lot of big topics to talk about there, including some great TV show trailers that we want to dive into. We're going to talk about the Nerd Fight poll results for the best supernatural character. Guys, get ready to pick your best Flash character from the CW series as well. And then we're going to get some season finale talk for Arrow, Flash, Supernatural, which will be an interesting one. And finally, Alien Covenant came out this week, so we're going to go back and give some of our Alien love and some memories and stuff like that for that. So before we get into it, let's see who's on the show. You got me, Mess5150. My co-host is going to be Beacon.
What up?
We've got watching what you guys have to say and tell us and chime in is Jack Malice.
Hey, everybody. And hello to Ken. He joined us early. And to Rob. They got here right on time.
Welcome, guys. We've got Big Papa Matt.
Yo.
Texas. Super Whovian Freak.
Hi.
That is the most timid I have ever heard.
Depression's a real thing.
She's getting ready.
Sorry.
So like I said, we're going to go into it with talking about the nerd news first. So all the headlines that happened this week, and there was a ton of them. Once we get past that, we're going to go deeper into the nerd fight again, where the poll results are at. You can still vote on those right now if you want to see if you can get somebody a better pick or not. And we're going to talk about next week's poll, which is going to be the best Flash character from the CW series. And then we're going to talk some theories and reactions to what we've seen so far with Arrow, Flash, Supernatural, and what's to come with Arrow and Flash next week. And finally give our nerd love towards the Alien movie. I went and saw Covenant yesterday. Everybody else hasn't seen it yet, I don't think, but we definitely want to talk about that series. So getting into it, we'll talk about that nerd news. One of the first big topics that came out this week, Fox has been doing everything. Fox has been doing everything to rebuild their X-Men franchise ever since X2, and every once in a while they'll get something.
X2.
X2 was good. X3 was horrible.
All of them are horrible. No, sorry.
Okay, well, so one of the big things that happened news-wise is we got confirmation, well, not 100% confirmation. Josh Horowitz from MTV News tweeted out in a conversation with Michael Fassbender that Fassbender will be back as Magneto for the Dark Phoenix.
Nice.
That's huge news for the factor that it was believed that Fassbender, McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, and the actor that played Beast, all their contracts were done. They weren't going to be coming back at all. So the fact that they were able to get Fassbender to come back on gives, if nothing else, better chances to get McAvoy to come back on. I think Lawrence is done. She doesn't want to do Mystique anymore, and she has her Oscar and all that type of stuff. So I don't think we're getting her back on that. The other major movie news, Beacon, was The Rock had some stuff to say about the DCEU.
Yeah. So we got some Black Adam news. Just a little bit. I don't know that it's completely confirmed from kind of what I've been following up on, but definitely the hints keep coming that Black Adam is going to fight Superman. And boy, howdy, am I looking forward to that. I want to see Superman get his butt kicked again. That was the best thing about Superman versus Batman, because I'm a big, huge Batman fan, and seeing Superman get just trashed, love it. So bring on Black Adam. We still don't have a lead for Shazam yet. So that's the other thing. Obviously, that fight's going to happen. We're going to see Black Adam versus Shazam eventually. But first, we get to see Black Adam versus Superman.
Yeah, and that's the way that they've basically been saying it, is that Shazam is going to come after Black Adam. They're going to actually get Black Adam his own movie, is the way it's looking, which is leaning more and more heavily that we're going to have The Rock at the WB panel this year at Hall H at Comic-Con. So just all this Black Adam talk, I think he's going to be there. And they're saying it's coming a lot faster than we think it's going to be here.
Well, I mean, they have to do something with him. That's the big thing with Warner Brothers is they have him on contract, and at some point you got to use him. You know what I mean? You got to get rolling on that project because The Rock's a hot commodity. You know,
highest paid actor right now.
Don't sit on that. You know.
Well, we look like we got some comments from the chat channel there. Ken is completely in disagreement with you. He seems to be a big Superman fan.
Well, to each their own.
I like Superman. So.
I like Batman because he's a normal dude. Okay.
I don't like the version of Superman we have in the films right now. I think they ruined it, but that's just me. Getting on to other DC stuff. Not next week, but the week after, we've got Wonder Woman coming out finally.
Yes.
And they've already kind of confirmed that Wonder Woman 2 is going to happen, even though this hasn't come out yet. But with that, for the first time, it looks like they're doing a Wonder Woman Day, which is going to be June 3rd, so the same weekend. Sounds like a really, really cool thing. It's going to be a worldwide event. There's going to be more than 2,000 comic retailers, bookstores, libraries, whatnot. Almost like a free comic book day type of thing. They're going to have two different Wonder Woman comic books they're giving away. One by Greg Rucka, which is a reprint of the most recent Wonder Woman #1, and it's going to say Wonder Woman Day Special Edition on it. And then you're going to have a DC Superhero Girls, which is more for the younger girls. That's also the same thing where it'll say Wonder Woman Day on it. But all types of stuff getting involved on this. There's creators that are going to be signing and stuff at different places, so look into that. Retail stores, you have Barnes & Noble, Book A Million, Walmart, Costco, Amazon, all getting involved in this. So it looks really cool. The other thing is that if you're not able to go to any of these events, there is a comic book activity sheet, trivia, stuff like that you can actually download from the internet if you look that up. I'll try and get you the links to that in the video for the edited version when we get it out. But just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. We'll get an article written up on what that stuff is. That's pretty much it for the DCEU stuff. Video game
we got
news.
a couple more comments here to throw at you.
Okay.
Nick jumped in and is calling himself a self-proclaimed DC fanboy and is another big Superman fan. Me and Matt are going back and forth at the channel here with him. Neither one of us.
Where did I start? I'm sorry.
But you know, they got to give him a shout out. He is the OG, like they said, but he really isn't all that interesting. But he's got a fan base.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
When you see a grown man cry at a trailer at Comic-Con because of Superman, there's a definite fan base there. We saw a grown man cry from the trailer.
More than one.
Hey, says the man who cries at just about every superhero movie. So
don't cry every superhero movie.
Hey man,
okay. Guardians of the Galaxy made me cry. Okay, the second one,
I burst into tears
about every Star Wars movie and every Star Wars trailer.
Not the last trailer, the trailer before that. Me and Big Papa Matt started holding each other.
Hey, I mean, my shoulder was just as wet as yours was from all our tears. All right. So.
Before we move on, though, we got another comment that I want to toss out there because I completely agree with it. It's coming from Robert. He loves Gal Gadot, or however you say her name. I'm not good with names.
Gadot.
But he feels the same way I do. She's not an Amazon. I mean, she's just not what I expected Wonder Woman to be. I was expecting a 6'1", powerhouse, not a 5'3" nothing. I'm just saying.
Magic.
I'm just saying.
Yep.
And we had a couple other people jump in here. I forgot. Nick joined us, but I didn't say hello to him. And then Beth is, of course, she's with us now too.
Yeah. Hey, Beth.
Okay, so next up, we had some video game news that came up, mainly about mobile thing that kind of dropped. Big Papa Matt had a little bit to touch on that. I mean, it's literally little, but it's still really awesome. It's still cool.
Just a little Scotia news from Nintendo. They had their earnings reports, and the first one was they delayed Animal Crossing, which there's a ton of fan base, as we saw from the Nintendo polls, that's going to be sad about that.
Yeah.
But they also dropped that Zelda is going to be in production for a mobile game. So they haven't really figured out the quite the right chemistry for their mobile games yet, Nintendo. They obviously had Pokemon Go, which blew up, went crazy for a whole summer. But Super Mario Run was very lackluster for a lot of reasons. The kind of pay to play to get extra levels and stuff didn't go over so hot with a lot of fans. And they're supposedly, what's in rumor is Animal Crossing's getting reworked. And we also had a free to play, but once again, pay to play Fire Emblem also released from Nintendo, and I think they're just trying to figure that out. So we didn't get a ton of details on Zelda itself, but we did hear that it's in development, it's coming to mobile, and looking forward to what they bring us, because Breath of the Wild was just phenomenal on so many levels, rethinking that genre, and hopefully we're going to get something really cool in our handheld mobile devices as we move forward with Zelda 2, which will be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah. The other major video game stuff that kind of dropped, and this was funny because I was in GameStop yesterday and they didn't even know it, which shows how well they know. Fractured Butthole got a actual release date. That is the South Park game, the sequel to Stick of Truth. It's been pushed back about 1.5 years. People have been waiting for it. I pre-ordered it 1.5 years ago. But it's got an actual release date of October 17th, so that's been confirmed now. So that's been something people have been waiting on, and the assumption on that is just that Trey and Matt don't want it to release until it's properly done.
Well, here's the thing: we're all sitting here talking about who's the better superhero, Superman, stuff like that. Go get Injustice 2. It's out. It's phenomenal, and fight like real superheroes, and go see what that's about. So if you haven't picked up Injustice 2, another video game shout out, go hit that up. It's phenomenal right now.
Injustice 1 was great, so is it as good or better?
Oh, better. We get a much bigger cast of characters right now. Like, first of all, I'm super biased. They got my boy Swamp Thing in it, and he is legit. He is so legit. Swamp Thing is handling business. But we also got some cool characters. You know, we got like Blue Beetle in it. We've got Dr. Fate. All Joker's obviously back, but Green Lantern, the OGs, Batman, Superman. Green Arrow is powerful. Like, this dude is so legit right now. The Flash is amazing, but what's cool is they've reworked the fatality system. Right now, it's a super move rather than a fatality or anything like that. So it's during your fights, you can just unleash hell and havoc upon your foe, and it is phenomenal. It is so much fun. You feel powerful in this game. It is a blast.
Awesome. The other bit of news that we had that Super Whovian Freak's going to talk about, there was some TV news, bridging off of the video game portion of it. Netflix is going to be bringing a new TV show that might rival Game of Thrones, is what people are starting to say. So, what go and tell us about that.
Well, there's no casting for the show yet, but the show's going to be called Witcher, and it's based off of a series, initially of Polish books written by a guy named Sapkowski. I'm probably butchering that, but it's Sapkowski, and they were originally an 8-book series, and then they became a video game. So Netflix is going to be basing this series. They're working with Polish television, I guess you could say, entertainment systems to make sure all the legalities are worked out, and the author's on board. And it's basically going to be, it's kind of supernatural style. It's following hunters, but the difference is they develop these supernatural abilities themselves, kind of like more Buffy style. And they hunt the monsters with these abilities. So they train essentially from childhood up till, you know, a certain age. I'm guessing when they turn 18 or when they become a legal adult, they're sent out into the world to hunt the supernatural. And they're not sure which character it's going to follow because it's based around a family. So it's not clear yet if the series is going to follow on the hunter. I think his name is Geralt. Probably butchering that name as well. But it's, like I said, it's following a family that is banding together. It's something is going on in the world itself. You know, chaos is coming, and this family is banding together to take on the extra supernatural threat that's threatening the fabric of reality.
Yeah, it's a very fantasy.
It sounds good. Yeah, it sounds really good.
The game is fantastic. I mean, one game of the year. The last one.
Witcher is one of my favorite series of games, and I've got hundreds of hours dumped into it. The Wild Hunt sucked my life away for about a month and a half.
Yeah. Witcher
So
3, it's gonna be hard to mess that up if you get some of those writers on board.
Hopefully,
I want to
that would be smart.
interject a little bit of the chat room conversation again. They're still stuck on the mobile gaming a little bit, and Robert has pointed out that mobile gaming is the new form of natural selection for humanity. So yeah, walking into traffic, Pokemon Go or Animal Crossing.
Gone.
Pokemon gone. Poof.
Man, it's sad because it's true.
These are kind of going to be the burn headlines to get through really quick. To touch on the factor of The Witcher coming to Netflix. Me being a huge Jim Henson fan, they also announced that there is a Dark Crystal show coming to Netflix, and they gave out a little teaser trailer of that with them drawing it up and stuff, and you get all of 5 seconds, 10 seconds of puppetry. So, but it looks awesome.
If you're generous, I would say it was more like 3 seconds of puppetry.
Yeah. But that has been a project that has been asked for years, because there was a rich world that they could go back to. With the loss of David Bowie for Labyrinth, I mean, you can't go back to that and really get that properly done. So at least they didn't have real actors that you see inside Dark Crystal, so they can still go back and do that world. So I'm glad they're doing that. All the upfronts started getting trailers this week. So we watched a couple of the big ones: The Gifted, The Orville, and Star Trek Discovery. What did everybody think of the trailers?
I'm excited for Star Trek, but I mean it's Star Trek,
Go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say The Gifted looks phenomenal. This looks like a whole world around the starting points of X-Men, which it is. It's going to be a school for the gifted. It's in the X-Men universe. Bryan Singer is on board helping produce as well. If you haven't seen the trailer for it, it's pretty exciting stuff. It looks like we got a couple of different types of mutants ready to go. It seems to be a much more futuristic world where there's still a lot of terror around the mutants and no one really knows where they're at, but we haven't got a full synopsis yet of what's kind of going to go on with it. But we just got a phenomenal trailer drop for it, man. I was watching it and I had to rewatch it a couple times right before the show, because I'm just like, man, this is good stuff. Like this 3-minute trailer is better than most full TV shows out right now. So I'm in.
Yeah, it does look good. I was not impressed though with is it Orville? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
The spoof on Star Trek. And I'm usually one for spoofing Star Trek, like Galaxy Quest. I love me some Galaxy Quest. Never give up, never surrender. Hashtag that. Orville, I just get this feeling like, am I watching Family Guy or am I watching Ted or Ted 2? And I just don't know that Seth MacFarlane has anything new for me. Yeah, it's a different format, obviously, but I just get the feeling like it's the same jokes over and over again. And yeah. And I love Family Guy, don't get me wrong, but
it's
I really wouldn't say it's a new format. Like I said earlier, it's a new setting. It's the same
new setting, same joke, new setting.
Same jokes, same theme, same everything. Just it's in space.
Just in space, yeah. I mean, I want to be excited, but I don't know. Kind of like.
I mean, it could be funny. It's who knows? But when other shows,
it'll probably be funny at first. Just
it'll
like
be a big hit in Washington and Oregon and Colorado for sure. Sure.
Yeah. But it'll be that thing I can watch. It'll be that thing I can watch once every now and again. But to sit there and try and watch it, every night, or it's not going to happen, because I'm just going to be like, okay. Okay. Well,
it had its moments on the trailer. I thought The Gifted looked fantastic. Star Trek Discovery, I am really pleased with. It looks really, really good. More to it. The creator, the showrunner for Discovery is the guy that did Hannibal, really, really big in the TV world, and he moderated the 50th anniversary panel last year at Comic-Con, and to let you know a little bit more about it. He loves Star Trek. He loves Gene Roddenberry's original idea for Star Trek, and that's what his whole thought process with doing this is, the same kind of thinking that Gene Roddenberry's doing with the whole combining worlds and people getting together and stuff, because that's Star Trek came from that turmoil of what was going on in the world. And it got a little weird at times, because at the end of the panel, he tried to make everybody in Hall H, which is 7,500 people, hold hands. So.
Yeah, that was, I'm just glad I had the rest of you around me, because I was definitely, I was too sweaty and tired. Someone else.
The Gifted looked a little bit like, to me, like I felt like I was watching a grungier version of Heroes. That's what I got from it.
Well, and that's the thing,
if it stays as good as Heroes did at the beginning, awesome.
It definitely took some elements. It definitely took some elements from that kind of idea where you have the father who is hunting mutants and the daughter is a mutant from that trailer. Probably, you know, for all we know. The thing I really liked about The Gifted, though, is it's bringing up some very, like, just we talked about Gene Roddenberry, right? When he released Trek, there was a lot of turmoil with race in this country and accepting people for who they were and his ideal society. The Gifted is doing a lot of the same things with, it looks like, to be bullying in high schools and kids who are just tormented by that. And how does that scenario change all of a sudden when those kids being bullied, those kids being picked on, can actually fight back with something like that, and they have powers with that? You know, that's going to be a very interesting stepping stone and a very interesting concept to see and be a part of, and it's pretty exciting, man. And you know, it's kind of a comic book trope, if you will, that the kid that gets punked and picked on has powers with stuff like Spider-Man and other X-Men stories. But I'm always a big fan of that style and of that theme, if you will.
Yeah.
Real quick to interject, we got a couple of interesting comments I want to throw out there real quick. Going back a little bit, we got Robert saying that if you don't like Dark Crystal, you're not a true nerd, and he wants to let us know that from what he's heard, it's a prequel.
So it's
going to take place before the actual movie. And then Ken, just because I wholeheartedly agree, not holding hands with any Trekkie in the dark. You don't know what you've been doing.
Yeah, like Matt said, luckily we were all, there was people that knew each other next to each other when they were doing it, and we all like looked at each other like, what the hell? So, but yeah, let's move on. That's the nerd news for this week. Let's get into our next major segment, which is the Nerd Fight Poll. This week's Nerd Fight Poll was the best supernatural character, which, Supernatural went. If you guys haven't watched it, there is a video that came out yesterday with Super Whovian Freak and Jack Malice, I think, on there.
And
I'm not gonna lie.
Gia was there too.
That was a fun video to wake up to this morning and watch that. I almost lost a Cheerio out of nostril at one point. I was like, oh yeah.
I actually was told by people that they were crying. They were like, they sent me Twitter messages that said, "Why are you making me cry at 3 o'clock in the morning watching this video?" And then at the end they were laughing because I was talking about spit roasting and building pyres to, the fans were going to roast the writers at the San Diego Comic-Con, and it was going to make the Charlie roasting after the Charlie death. It just seemed like a warm campfire compared to the
She had me scared, guys. I was scared. I'll admit it.
But did you at any point say that creamed my cheese?
I did not.
I think that statement did come up. The statement did come up. You didn't say it, but the statement came up.
Yeah, I think I threw it at her a couple times.
You were saying something about gumbo.
Oh, I did. Yeah, the phrase "Juju Magumbo" came up.
Yeah. So hashtag Juju Gumbo, everybody.
Okay.
I don't quite remember what I was referencing at that point, but I think I said something about bad Juju Magumbo, and there is going to be some bad Juju Magumbo coming to these writers if the fans have anything to say about it.
we're gonna get into these season finales and stuff. Let's get into through this podcast through the poll first, real quick. So our choices that we had Matt coming out of left field with an amazing pick of Baby, the 1967 Impala, which got all of us caught off guard.
Sweet.
We had Felicia Day's character of Charlie Bradbury. We had Jared Padalecki's character of Sam Winchester. Jim Beaver, Bobby Singer.
Yes.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan as John Winchester. And then Jensen Ackles as Dean Winchester. And Misha Collins as Castiel. So, anybody find any fun stories that happened with this week's polling, trying to get votes?
We got Mess to sing. That was fun.
Yeah. I mean, we had some fun. I mean, just some fun Twitter banter. I mean, the whole train that took off, and who coined the phrase the Twitter choo-choo. I mean, I don't even know how that started, but somehow we got in a debate on Twitter about who coined the Twitter choo-choo first, and which led to, like you said, it led to Mess singing. So I think in the end we all won.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen that video, it's in our YouTube channel. So make sure you're liking and subscribing, and then you go check out Mess singing his Castiel song because it's fun
only it's maybe 3 lines, so it won't hurt your ears too bad.
Tried really hard at that to get me to do some kind of singing for Crowley. And
we're trying.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
I hate to break it to you, but
Mr. Crowley.
I'm the only person in the history of the United States Army that's been booed for calling cadence, okay? All right? When you have a first sergeant tell you to fall back in formation because you're giving him a headache, you don't want to hear me sing, guys.
Let's get into what the Revolt results were. So coming in last, we had John Winchester.
Not surprising, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan has a ton of fan love and stuff like that, but yeah,
But his character, that is the power of the character of John Winchester.
There wasn't love for that character, I found out there. So, Charlie came in next with 22 votes. Charlie had a lot of love. It was kind of crazy that she didn't get more votes. Felicia Day did like a couple of our tweets. She just didn't retweet them, and I think if she had, then Charlie would have been up there in the top 3 for sure.
Yeah,
kind of cool to see her looking at what we had to say about it and stuff. And there was a great Twitter conversation that came out of it with some great little memes from Super Whovian Freak about how it made us want to walk on sunshine again and stuff, just thinking about Charlie. And so that was fun. Then the next one was Baby, and this was a fight because Baby was jumping up and down with Charlie. I think Baby got up to the Crawley for a little bit and stuff. So
man, I didn't have anybody to retweet the car, man. That's what the problem. The car can't retweet. That's my issue, man.
Baby, not Kit.
I gotta stop picking inanimate objects for my nerd pole fights.
You have to go find those Impala card clubs.
Ah, man. They don't watch Supernatural?
They're off drag racing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I gotta go hit up the 909 Street Outlaws crew.
Yeah, Street Outlaws. Yeah.
The next one we got was Crowley, and I thought there would be more love, especially after last night's episode. But
after last night's, maybe if he hadn't been doing the video, the recap video, maybe. But there was, I told Jack, he picked the wrong week to pick Crowley, because the week before you found out that Crowley had been working with the British Men of Letters, and he's the one that supplied the Hellhound that killed Eileen. So a lot of antagonism going towards that character because of the fact that he inadvertently gave the weapon. I mean, obviously he didn't know what it was going to be used for, but you knew it wasn't going to be anything good, and that's how Eileen died.
So after Crowley, this recently just happened in the poll. Like, the people have still been voting and stuff, but Sam Winchester was the next one, Jared Padalecki's character, and it's always assumed that the brothers are going to be in those top 3, but it didn't happen this time. Sam was down in number 4 because jumping above Sam was Bobby.
That's right. He was back for the finale, and he's back in the voting.
That's exactly what happened. So, then you had in second place the the more followed brother, Dean Winchester, and
who had an
he
amazing
came with a good-
performance last night, didn't he?
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
how he's not being nominated for an Emmy for that performance last night in the first episode before the finale. Shame on whoever picks for Emmy. Shame on all of you, because that if he was on an NBC or an ABC or a CBS or something, there is no way that man would not be in consideration every year.
Yeah. And then the man we love came in first place, Misha Collins, Castiel.
Yeah.
So I need to say,
surprise.
there was huge, honestly, huge surprise for me, because Super Whovian Freak is fairly deep into the supernatural world with tweets and talking to people, and has been for a little while. This was my first foray into talking to the supernatural fans, and the embrace from the Castiel fans was amazing. And I just want to say a great big thank you to them for actually embracing it and sharing the poll with other people and stuff, especially to the Twitter handle Castiel Dreamer. They were the first ones to kind of jump on board with it. And
yeah, she's cool.
From there, we had a few other people that were responding and coming back and talking to me. We got some likes not likes, but actual some followers out of it and stuff. So it was really, really awesome. And I really appreciate these people. I think there was a couple things that had helped Castiel majorly. One, of course, last night, but before that, Misha was getting trolled really bad by people, and I think people felt bad for him because of that, because of the real life stuff that was going on. And he just lost a poll 3 weeks prior to E! News, and the Castiel fans were still a little bitter about that. So I think that's what helped it. So that's our results for that. The next poll we're doing is the best Flash character from the CW TV show, and the one stipulation we've had come with it is that you cannot pick the main character because he would run away with it. I know, it's bad. It was bad. I was told I had to say that line. So
yeah, and then the second stipulation is we are going to ask for the fan vote when we're all done with this thing. So that gives you, the fans, time to just really think about what you want, because fans were last from last week too, but we're actually going to take your vote at the end. That gives you plenty of time to really chat there in the channel, get a plan together, and we'll hear from you at the end.
Yeah. So really quick into it,
So
and we're going to burn through
first,
because we got other stuff to talk about. Yeah. So my first choice, I can't take the Flash, so I'm gonna get some female love into this poll, and my pick that I'm going with, I'm gonna take Iris, Candace
Patton. Nice.
Yeah. So I think with some of the things that have been happening recently, there's definitely some
there's
focus on
good reason to take her. Yeah, there's a lot of fan love.
She is a good character.
So
It's hard to argue.
And her acting in this season in particular has been, I mean, top notch, amazing.
Yeah, I think grown since the first, because I actually didn't like her
Absolutely.
the first season. I thought she was kind of stiff and unrelatable, but this season definitely, I don't know if it's just the romance, it seems more mature or what, but she definitely has been killing it.
And Super Whovian, you have the next pick.
Well, I'm going with probably my favorite character. A lot of it, yes, again, is the actor, but I'm going with HR. I love everything from HR. I know, sorry, but I mean, from playing the evil, I mean, he is an acting master. Every incarnation that they have had of HR Wells on the show, he plays it flawlessly. Like you could, I mean, having Earth 2 HR against Kooky HR, and you would think that they were twins, you know, but I love him on screen. He's not the reason I started watching The Flash. I mean, that was obviously Grant Gustin. I'm a big Grant Gustin fan, but he's the one that hooked me and kept me in, and everything. So that's why I'm taking HR.
Tom Cavanaugh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that Jack and I get on one of these things and start talking. It's an absolute
So
love letter.
Ken is
to
not
Tom
caught up
Cavanaugh.
on Flash, and he says we can't spoil anything during our picks.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. I think we'll be okay
Don't
with
feel
that.
bad, kid. I haven't watched any of the episodes, and so I can't spoil anything.
So I'm up next, right?
You are up
And
next.
I'm gonna take the OG himself, John Wesley Shipp, Jay Garrick. Also Barry's dad, So John Wesley Shipp's my pick because he's awesome. He's got a great following. Fans love him. He was the original Flash, and he's awesome. You can't not love that guy.
I used to have a comic book adaptation of the original series with him and his really bad outfit.
Yeah,
the old pilot. The big rubber outfit. So next we had Jack with the next pick.
And Jack refuses to pick.
What?
I know. I'm waiting for. I was waiting for the backlash.
I thought you would come back and take your other favorite.
Can't do it. I had this problem the other time. I can't go against my favorite. Can't do it.
Yes,
No,
at least I have one.
No Captain Cold Love. All right, I see.
No, we got Captain Cold Love coming from the chat channel, so they're gonna get represented.
Okay.
My favorite. So, and I just
Hey,
can't
that's
do it.
fair.
And just so everybody knows,
totally
Tom
fair.
Cavanaugh is my favorite. He's the only, yes, the Flash is my favorite comic book character, but Tom Cavanaugh makes the show.
He's the best.
So, and I can't go against him. I refuse.
No, that is
That is fair.
That's fandom right there. That's true fandom. So that's fine. We'll get 2 votes from the fans at the end of it. And you just got a second person to help you out, Super Whovian Freak, because you know who Jack is gonna be.
That was my strategy.
Oh, so now we're all picking Jack's favorite.
I think she's got every single one of us now. She's got every single one of us now.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Okay. So, Big Matty.
You guys ready for this? 2 weeks in a row. I'm blowing everybody's mind.
No.
Blowing everybody's mind here. Unfortunately, the Flash doesn't have a car, so I can't pick that. But what I'm going with here is the OG. He came back and had a wonderful couple episodes here. Mark Hamill as the trickster. Get some.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I thought about that one actually. But yeah, that's a good one. And then we'll have 2 more picks, but we're gonna get those at the end of the thing. Yeah. So right now we got 4 people on there, and we'll go through all that again at the end. So for all those CW fans that are sitting right here in the chat right now, be ready to unleash. What do you think is going to happen with Arrow and Flash next week?
I think we should hold off on the Flash. And so if I can jump in real quick, I'll just say, if you want to hear about the Flash, if you want to talk about the Flash, we have some videos.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, well,
we've been filming. If you're watching and you don't know this, we've been filming just about every day this week, something new, and it's been blowing up right now. So we've got some great content out there. So as far as the Flash goes, I'm going to tell you, go watch those videos. There's
so we'll stay away from the Flash.
We got some good Green Arrow content out there too.
Yeah, but I think we're okay to talk Green Arrow. I'm going to say it.
Are we going to spoil any of the in chat room? Is everybody good with Arrow?
If everybody's good with that, we'll talk.
No? Yeah. Okay. So what I want. These are 2 things I want to have you guys kind of hit on. Hit on what you think is going to happen with Arrow. Super Whovian Freak. Hit on some of the theories that have come up so far in the last 12 hours about what's going on with Supernatural. If people are actually dead or if they're not.
All right. Well, from what we have been led to believe by Andrew Dabb, the showrunner, is that multiple people were going to be killed, and I emphasize killed, but only one was going to be permanent. Now, 3 people died in the finale. More people died in the episode before that, but as far as I know, they're not being considered as anyone that's going to be coming back. It was mostly all British men of letters, and God, I hope they're spit roasting in hell. But so we had Rowena, we had Castiel, and we had Crowley. The biggest news, not a lot of theories right now on whether or not Rowena or Crowley will be coming back. But with Castiel, there's so many inconsistencies with the scenes that he was in after he comes back from the hell dimension. His mannerisms were off. He was twitchy. His eyes were always darting. When Dean and Sam show up in the Impala, he did not seem to recognize the Impala's noise. He just was like, oh, a car, and he goes downstairs. It's not till he actually sees Dean walk in, and then he's like, oh, Dean. And by the way, there were 2 other people there, but did he mention them? No, it was just Dean. Anyways, so we don't actually know what happened when he went in there the first time. When he went into the alternate dimension, he sees the hell. He sees someone, which we later found out I think was Bobby. I think it was the same person. But we don't know how actually long he was in there. We have no idea. We don't know what happened when he went in there. And when he came out, he was completely different. And so anyways, they set up the scene. They're going to distract Lucifer. They're going to lead him into the other dimension, and they're going to trap him there. From what we can assume, Castiel and Mary were going to go up and protect the baby in case they failed, and they were going to be kind of the last line of defense. Because when they're in the other world, and Crowley has told, they've worked out this plan with Crowley where they're going to seal the breach, and he springs on him at the last second that the sealing the breach requires a sacrifice, a life. And he has decided he is going to take the bullet, and he's going to, because he's done. He's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of ruling hell. I'm tired of my life, essentially. And so he sacrifices his life. But now, as Jack pointed out in the video last night, that didn't just seal the breach right away. Apparently, it was on some kind of dramatic timer, the Michael Bay timer, I think he called it. And it didn't actually seal until almost 5 minutes later, 5 or 10 minutes later. But anyway, so Crowley stabs himself with the angel blade, dies, sacrificing. The spell is apparently cast, and all of a sudden then Castiel just appears, and you can tell that he's not supposed to be there. Sam and Dean are freaking out, and he's charging Lucifer with an angel blade, which he would know would not work against Lucifer. He would know that he would need an archangel blade to kill and slay Lucifer. So that made no sense whatsoever. Why he just
totally agree with you. Yeah. I mean, it's very uncast like, and so I think that's why
it's
I don't think see something to do with that. Yeah,
it's totally not him, or it's someone else, or he was being possessed, or the Nephilim created a cast projection. I don't know, but it was not, because you could tell when Dean and Sam were looking, they were freaked that he was there. He was not supposed to be there. And then the lame, jumping out of the portal, and the lame sticking in the back, and the wings weren't right. When you looked at the ground on the wings, they weren't right. They were fully formed. They shouldn't have been fully formed. Castiel's wings were damaged. They were bony. They barely had any feathers. So all of it was just wrong. So if anyone I think is coming back,
seems like a sick joke.
Yeah,
seems like a sick joke.
I totally
agree.
I
like
think
a sick
he's
joke.
coming back, but
it seems like a horrible, cruel, sick joke. And then plus there was the fact that he gets stabbed, and there's a huge hole in his chest, but when he's on the ground, there's no more hole. And I know Jack said that was probably just an oversight, but that's not an oversight. You don't overlook something like that. Not with a fandom that analyzes and overanalyzes and dissects each and every scene after every episode. You are not going to forget to put a gaping hole in Castiel's chest after he's been stabbed like that. It's not going to happen. So that's weird. That's really weird.
Okay.
For more on those theories, definitely check out the video that happened last night, because they go way in depth on all of this. So make sure you're checking that out. It's worth the watch. And you'll really kind of dig into a little bit more of what Super Whovian Freak was just saying. But as far as Arrow goes, I would say watch the video that we did. Rather than rehash everything, it's worth just watching. It's about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, and we got a couple people in the chat channel that are asking us to not dive too deep into Arrow because they haven't finished it up yet and they don't want the spoilers.
And I would much rather you go watch that video. I mean, it's got like well over almost 500 views now. It's definitely worth watching and just leaving your comments in that video. So I'm just going to plug it that way. I'm super excited for it. I will leave you with that this is going to be an epic finale, and it's worth watching the video to set you up for next week. And if you haven't caught up, I don't know what you do with your time, but catch up. Sleep is for the weak. Catch up.
Okay, so to finish out our last segment for tonight, let's talk some Alien love. Covenant came out today, and yeah, I got a little egg here with the face hugger.
Is that what that
is? No, Loot Crate had a box that came out a few back on the 30th anniversary last year, and it came with some awesome items. You had the glow-in-the-dark eggs, came with the shirt of the emblem from the Marines on the side of the ship. So I'm a huge fan of Aliens. Have been, always will be, and got super excited for the movie coming out, and I had to see it last night. So I went and saw it. I will say, go see it.
Yeah, you guys watch it. I'm going to have a Quest for the 100 update on it. It was phenomenal.
I'm watching it tomorrow morning. It's spoiler alert for everybody. It's my birthday tomorrow. So I'm actually going to wake up in the morning. Birthday. I might go fishing, and then I'm going to watch Prometheus, and then I'm going to turn right around and go to the theater and watch Covenant. So I'm going to have myself an Alien day tomorrow. Yep.
That's really the way to do it. It was, unfortunately, there was some people that won't be happy with it. There was actually somebody in my audience that was like, oh, it's the same as Prometheus. And like, it was all pissed off and walked out. But you know what? It does clear up a lot of what happened in Prometheus, explaining the story, and it is definitely setting that pace to get to what happens in the first Alien. So it's a fantastic watch. Oh yes, yeah. Absolutely. So definitely watch that. What I want to get from everybody is, if you like Alien, what are your memories about it? What was the first time you watched it, and what happened and stuff like that? How did that come about? I know Matt had a story on that, I think.
I want to hear from Big Papa Matt.
I'm so sorry. I was over here reading comments. What was up?
We were talking about
spill your Alien story.
First time that we saw Aliens.
Dude,
yeah, or
Aliens. Oh my God.
The franchise.
So my brother, he got me into a lot of this stuff, and the first movie he actually had me watch was Aliens, because rest in peace to the great Bill Paxton. He was our guy, and my brother just couldn't wait to show me that line. It's game over, man. Game over, man. Game over. And so I have this super fond memories of Aliens, but then they redid for like the 20th anniversary, they released Alien in the theater again. And I was still pretty young when that got released. And I'm going to tell you right now, I had recurring nightmares for probably about a month after watching Alien. Like that, it terrified me, man. Like it was legitimately the best, scariest film I had ever watched. And I mean, it wasn't like I was a small kid by any means, but man, that first Alien, I remember being in the theater and just being terrified of dark rooms again. And I hadn't had that in so long, and that movie brought back that feeling, and still does to this day. That first movie is just, every single moment builds and builds to terrify you, and I love it. Absolutely love the Alien films, man. They're some of my favorites. I think they're some of the best made, best written, best acted. The set design on them, every single thing on them is close to flawless you can get for sci-fi or horror in general.
I agree. The first time I watched it scared the bejesus out of me. Made me a believer. I've got a funny quick story though. My wife and I have been watching this show. It's called Life in Pieces, and if you haven't seen it, it's just a situational comedy. It's super funny. It gives you like 4 quick stories for every 30 minutes, and it just follows this family and anyway. super funny. Well, the dad is trying to impress his like 13-year-old daughter who's having like a sleepover, or maybe she's 12 anyway. And she's trying to act like she's a big girl and she's grown up and like, Dad, don't hang out with me. So he gives her Alien to watch with her friends. And of course it scares every single one of them, and they run out of the room and they're crying and they have to come get picked up by their parents because they're so freaked out because of watching Alien. So that's my little plug for Life in Pieces. It's a great show.
Okay. I know I'll tell my story of first experience with Aliens. I was too young to be allowed to watch it, and we were actually.
Jimmy's coming over.
You're not muted.
Go grab some.
All right, I guess I'm not.
Yeah.
Not bad.
There's a couple people in that closet over there, Beacon.
So we were at the Drive-In Theater. Yes, those things did exist at one point. There's a couple of them out there still. But we were watching. I don't remember what we were watching. I was super young, maybe 6 or 7 or something, when Aliens came out. And all I know is that whatever we were watching, I couldn't take my eyes off of the screen across the way that had Aliens on it, and watching what was going on over there. Now I couldn't hear what was going on or anything, but my parents kept getting pissed off at me and looking at me and going, "Turn your head away from there!" Kept yelling at me, and then I see the power loader come out with, and I'm like, I gotta watch what's going on here. I'm just staring over there, and they kept like, they eventually put blankets up over the windows so I couldn't watch. But they're like, "That's R-rated, you can't watch that." But I got enamored with that, and then I moved later, and some friends from across the street, my neighbors, that was the first thing they showed me when I got to meet them. And the other kids there were like, "You got to watch this movie," and they pulled Aliens out, and then we watched that, and then we watched Alien, and then we made up stories about what the space traveler was and where it came from and stuff. So it's been a series that I've always been super enamored with, and there's a fantastic book series out there that actually goes after the second Alien called the Hive book series that is much better than what ended up happening after Alien 3. No resurrection, basically. So I would recommend checking that series out. Jack.
Yeah, real quick, before we go forward, I want to go ahead and share. We had a couple of stories since you were going a little long-winded there. I was waiting for you to finish from the chat channel from Aliens 2. Rob shared with us that he had the Kenner Alien toy when he was a kid, and he saw it the first time when he was about 5. Then we got Ken and Matt going on about Sigourney Weaver and killing aliens and busting ghosts.
And bringing you into manhood. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, that's about it. So go ahead. Moving on.
Did I gotta ask this? This was my favorite toy growing up. Did anybody else have the Ajax Alien character where it was a guy that got dressed up like an alien? You put it on, like he had a queen. So he was a normal action figure, and then you had a piece that you put on his back that looked like the alien arms coming out, and then he wore a hat that was an alien queen head. It was my favorite character growing up.
I had one of the Xenomorph ones, and we used to play G.I. Joes versus the Xenomorph, and that was amazing. Sometimes Ninja Turtles would jump in too. I mean, it was crazy.
And to pinpoint back to the Loot Crate stuff, if you ever see a special box for something that's a theme to it and it's something you love, go get it, because when your box ends up shaping to the actual tank from Aliens, after all's said and done, they put every little detail to it. So that's pretty much where we're at. We have one last thing that we need to do, and that was getting the fan vote. And have we gotten...
Well,
what do we got?
Nice. There's the New Mutants number 1 there.
Dude, not only did I score number 1, Butted 2, 3, and 4 at the comic book shop
Nice.
the other day.
Oh snap!
Sealed.
That was
They're
actually
very fine. I'm hoping that they're in the 9 grades right now. They're legit. I got a cool score. So go ahead, continue. I just had to plug that. I feel awesome.
no, absolutely.
that's
Actually,
amazing.
going back to that, that was one of the first comic books I ever read. My dad has number 1, and I used to sneak into his comic book collection to read comics, and that was always right there on top. So, but what was I going to say on that? I can't remember. But yeah, so we got to get the pick. What do we got for 2 choices that have been popping up in the chat, Jack?
Well,
Have they
we
come
have
to-
2 solid picks and a whole bunch of bashing on Grodd. So
so Grott's not going in.
Hey, completely appropriate too. Thank you.
Yes,
Completely
absolutely.
appropriate.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So it looks like our audience tonight likes cold and colder.
So we got Frost and Captain Cold.
well, the very first pick was, of course, Captain Cold. That was thrown out pretty early on by Ken.
Wentworth Miller, gotta go with him. Yep.
And then after that, we went for even colder, and we got Killer Frost.
Yeah,
So
no, Baker, very nice. Good, great picks too. Like,
no, I have a question there though, and maybe the audience can answer this for me. Are you want Killer Frost on there, or do you want help me out here, Brian? I'm terrible with
or
names.
Caitlin Snow. The answer is
Caitlin
yes.
Snow.
The answer is yes.
I mean, technically,
Two
she is the
different
same
characters, right?
character.
The answer is yes.
I mean, she's the same person, just 2 different portrayals.
You want Danielle Pennebaker. That's who you want.
So.
Okay, well then there's your fan picks there,
Okay, so I got those.
All right.
and I'm not gonna ask him that, Ken. We're trying to keep a family friendly atmosphere here.
Yeah, I saw that. No, I don't have any of those here. There's just a ton of Loot Crate boxes and pops that you can see behind me. So, say what again?
Say what again? Say what again?
So, as we close out, everybody, go ahead and tell us where we can follow you. Beacon, go first.
Yeah, you can. Well, first of all, you can follow our site, right? malice-corp.com. There's always content out there. There's tons of new stuff, so make sure you're checking out the website first. You can follow me on Twitter at beacon_malicecorp.
Okay. Big Papa Matt.
The Big Papa Matt, MaliceCore.com, Twitter, Instagram, and Son of Maku, SONOFMAKU on Snapchat. Also, please check out Nerd Mosh Pit, the newest, latest, greatest podcast in the podcast family here at MaliceCore.com. So check that out. We've got episode 1 out. I'm going to be recording episode 2, and we've got some artwork on the way. So check it out. Nerd Mosh Pit, you guys. Have some fun with it. It was been a blast making it. So check it out.
It's good stuff.
Yes. Thank you for plugging that. I was going to tell you too if you forgot. Super Whovian Freak, where are we following you?
At Twitter, I'm at SuperHoovianNut, and I'm on Instagram at GumbyGirl, GMBYGRL.
Gotta change that.
Gotta change that to creams
I
my
say that
cheese.
every freaking week, and I never freaking remember to go do it.
That creams my cheese.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna check that because I actually think I did change it. Go on, I'll tell you in a second.
Jack, where can we follow you?
On Twitter, of course, at Jack_Malice. I'm always there sometime, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Mest_MaliceCorp and on Instagram at Mest5150. And yeah, that's pretty much it for those. Like Beacon said, make sure to check out the site as well, malice-corp.com. It is an endeavor of love. That's what I was going to get back to. I completely forgot. There is a trivia quiz that we put together that eventually will come out for New Mutants. So for those people that do like the New Mutants and want to test their knowledge against it, that's coming. And go check out the site for that when it comes. If you guys haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. If you have any friends or family that you think would get a dig out of this and like this this little endeavor of nerd chat that we have, please tell them about the channel. Have them go subscribe. We're trying to get to that 100 subscribers. We get there, we get our own designated URL, which makes things a lot easier when we tell you guys about coming to check out the new live cast and stuff like that. So please tell people, and make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, leave comments below. If there's something that you that we didn't touch on that you wanted us to touch on or something like that, go and leave the comments, and we'll look into that stuff later. And if you have any ideas or thoughts for something to talk about later, please either send Beacon a tweet at Beacon_MaliceCorp, or send myself a tweet at Mest_MaliceCorp, and we will look into those things. So with that,
Absolutely.
I'm going to bid everybody adieu. Make sure you go check out the site. If you haven't done the Kiwi Crate yet and you're interested in that, make sure to go through the site for that, because you get that savings on that. But to everybody else, is there anything left on?
Yeah. No.
Was there any last things on the chat for anybody that wanted to shout out?
Yeah, well, Nick pointed out that if we're going to go ahead and take HR and HW and Harrison Wells all as one character, we got to take Killer Frost and
absolutely,
Very
absolutely.
true. Very true.
Same thing with
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
They are three
The actor,
different people. So
every character the actor plays, we can accept. I say.
fair point.
I think that's fair.
Fair point.
Yeah. And a big thank you to all of you who joined us for this chat. Like, it was really fun
It was.
to watch the banter going on in the chat channel. We really dig getting to interact with you while we're doing this. It's one thing to talk with each other, but when we get to talk with you guys, it makes it that much better. So thanks for sharing your time with us tonight, and until next time, stay nerdy out there.
Peace out, guys.